GM, everyone, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Hub, a Farcaster developer focused podcast. I'm here once again with Adrienne, GM Adrienne. How are you?
Hey, GM Dylan, I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good. I'm good. There is a lot of exciting stuff going on in the Farcaster ecosystem, so it's gonna be good to go over it once again.
As we say, Farcaster's about to pop off.
It really is. It really
It-
is. Yeah. If it wasn't
and I don't
already
even know
beforehand.
what I know this is your show, so I don't even know what we're talking about, but I was going to ask if the topic of the day is the Warpcast wallet.
Definitely. Yeah, I just got access to it last night. I think some people got access Thursday or Friday. But why don't we and actually there's a couple things with the wallet. So first, as some overview, they're still testing it. They started with about 1,000 people. I think it was from the rewards leaderboard. The goal is to make on-chain actions really easy. Um, Maybe I'll use the screen mirroring in a second and we can show the wallet, but it is an embedded wallet. In the app, there's a dedicated wallet tab. You can send, you can swap. It is pre-filled with a bunch of Farcaster native tokens for the swap and send options, but you can also paste in any sort of contract address. And also, you know how you can click or search a ticker now? If you click on it, there's also a new little swap button next to it if you have Warpcast Wallet enabled. So you can just go and swap it right there, which is a neat little feature. If you deposit like something like $8 worth of based ETH into that wallet, you'll get a little halo or ring around your profile, which is also neat. And in the settings, you can toggle Warpcast Wallet as the preferred wallet for things like transactions and frames, but also you can go back to Rainbow or Coinbase Wallet. You're not fully dependent on it, which is good. And then a little bit more as well from the not on this side, but actually there was something from Stefan about him and V talking about how the wallet works beneath the hood because it's not something I necessarily want to give away myself. So the private key for the wallet, it is a Shamir shard, which is like a crypto sharding algorithm. I can put in the show notes into on your device into three shards, two of which can reconstruct the private key. So there's no single um, key that is just then you just have the private key anyways. So one remains on your device. One is encrypted by a key Warpcast holds the recovery shard. One is encrypted by a key that Privy holds off shard. So without saying much more, I would assume this means this is a Privy wallet since Privy is hosting part of it, and probably some sort of embedded wallet. But again, don't know much more than that. Are we gonna?
Um,
Okay.
no, I think I saw it. Like even V answering some more questions, maybe even this morning, or Dan maybe just about how the implementation is. But I think my guess is it's privy. I think it has to be. And we've seen
Yeah.
this somewhat implementation with these shards, which is kind of like the key being split across different places. So no one person can access it. So like if, um, I guess if there's like one shard, like you can't access the wallet unless you have all three. So if
Yeah.
one of the shards get compromised for example, if Privy gets compromised, your wallet is safe because it doesn't have the other two.
Yes. Or in this case, I think you just need two of them, but the same
Is
idea
that
that there's not
okay?
like a single point of or
Oh yeah,
something like that.
two of the three to reconstruct.
Yeah. Um, but
I
yeah,
don't know that
I'll
much. I would say I don't know that much about how this works. I listened to Henry Stern, who's the founder
he's
of
great.
Privy, on a podcast that's over a year old. He was on with Nicholas, the Web3 Galaxy Brain, but I was listening to it recently, and it's like I think the podcast might be 18 months old, but he was talking about sharding and and it was actually really interesting and helpful to understand.
Yeah, really smart guy, smart people there. Um, but yeah, no. Okay, here, look, it says as well here, it would take two separate breaches of Warpcast and Privy to compromise key material. So definitely very secure. reason they're doing this instead of a simple EOA is users won't lose access to their funds because it inherits the Farcaster recovery system because of the two-thirds thing, and users can seamlessly access their wallet on any device without needing to move seed phrase around. So they'll, I assume they can do this on web as well, and hopefully will that sort of stuff. So it seems like they took their time with the actual design implementation. I mean, they've been teasing an embedded wallet situation for at least 2 to 3 months now. So it's cool to see.
Yeah. And this is a good point. It's similar mechanism as the Farcaster recovery.
Yeah,
So Merkle has experience with thinking about, I guess, consumer crypto use cases where you're not asking people to guard a seed phrase with their life, and there is recovery.
yeah,
Interesting.
exactly. Well, all right. One personal, or not personal, but like non as developer related thing that I'll bounce to really quickly related to Farcon NYC as a little brand ambassador here is, if we are still doing rolling acceptance. I believe we have the submissions open for like another 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. Emma posted, so don't quote me. It's in the channel. But for those who have already been accepted on a rolling basis to either Summit or Builders Day, and accepted means you got notified and then actually went to Unlock Protocol and received your ticket, or like purchase the ticket. And you have that connected wallet associated with your Farcaster account. If there are edge cases, then I'll fix it. I think something happened with now as Prof I need to get to, but you can join these group chats. I think especially since it's 2.5 months away. Hopefully, this give folks time to be able to ask questions or coordinate if you want to room with other people or just figure out where they're staying or whatever the case may be. But great thing about Warpcast is, again, we can token gate these. I was literally able to just copy paste in the link to the OpenSea collection for both NFT tickets. And I haven't actually, other than now as Prof and maybe one other person who they like don't have the connected wallet or whatever, haven't really ran into any issues. And let me in. I'll do that for you privately in a second now as Prof. I got you. But other
I
than
need to
that,
get let into.
okay, I'll do that.
I
My biggest issue is that, like, maybe would it not work and would it just be public, you know? So I'm
well,
I'm glad that it actually like enforced the rule. And I feel like the other stuff is pretty easy to handle. But yes, if you have anything, you should definitely join those group chats. And again, like, we have more rolling information coming out about acceptances and just about the event in general. And so the best place for all of that information is the Farcon NYC channel. And I just added you both to the group chat as well. So should be good now.
a master at multitasking, Dylan, as you're doing a live stream podcast. Are you sure you didn't just make it public for everyone?
I don't know. There's only one way to find out. Test and prod. Um, cool. All right. Well, enough of that. Although very excited for what's going to happen there. Okay, we already went over this one. A few thoughts on wallets. If you have a frame with on-chain transactions, link it here. I think there's some. I think, to be honest, I'm curious to see what else is going to pop up here. One that very quietly happened. I think I casted this as well. But oh, actually, look at this coming in real time. Um, this tool Sim, it seems like it's like another like on-chain AI tool from Tamrat, who I know is a great developer. It seems like now, oh, look at this. He asked, how is Hire doing? This is something I find really cool. It shows you the price of Hire, how many of your friends own it. You swap it, and then with the Warpcast wallet now, you're confirming directly with it. Um, Dang, I have to recast this directly live. I have to give a little. Wait, I have to do a little signature here from the hub.
I wasn't following
Let them
Tamrat
know.
either, so I am now.
Yeah, shout out Tamras, building a lot of cool stuff, and especially doing some of the like AI stuff I've been doing, like for for Farcaster, I've definitely been thinking about different things like this, like making it easy to trade and stuff. So this is really slick, especially like the social context and then being able to trade with the wallet. So props. And but what I was gonna say there, that fun to comment, but like what I was gonna say there separately is I'm curious to see what other on-chain transaction frames pop up personally. We will see. There have been some. I think there could be a lot more. And there is also the process of just like continuing to convert existing on-chain apps to V2 frames. I think a lot of people already use a stack that is a V2 frameable. And so, yeah, just curious to see how this all evolves, like what sort of things that are going to be available for people to use.
Yes. I converted a simple website to a V2 frame last week. It has 0 Farcaster native capabilities and 0 on-chain. But I imagine, Dylan, in steps, I can like now start adding some on-chain capabilities once it's as a
Totally.
frame. And I
Totally.
imagine I've got friends in the ecosystem who are developers who would be willing to help me.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
I'm making eye contact with you. It's hard to tell over the screen.
Yes, no, we'll figure it out whether it's on another stream or off stream, but we can definitely add those features. And I think the everything is getting a lot more open to build on top of. Like there's so many composable tools for doing all that sort of stuff. Like actually, they give me more ideas of things to bring up. So Tina from On Chain Kit, who's another great builder, posted this last week. Let me see. Using so on-chain kit is basically it's like a React library for plug and play like components on base that you can add into your on-chain app, and it's stuff that's really robust. So some of it is like you can add a funding card and people can literally like buy ETH with their Coinbase or debit card or even Apple Pay. There is an NFT card where I can just put in like the chain in the contract address for the NFT and you can see it or you can even mint it, swapping profile for a wallet, all this sort of stuff. And I just lost the post there, but she used all this stuff in on-chain kit to make a V2 frame where like let's say for example for your app, not only would it require even less code, but they can handle all the data loading and they can pay for gas for you, and it can still be in something like a V2 frame. So all these all these building blocks, the Legos for developers, I guess, are coming together in really nice and composable ways.
Incredible.
Yeah, cool
Dylan, as a
stuff.
developer, when you see libraries like this, what do you do? What are the steps you do to kind of vet um, credibility, safety, reliability? Like, how do you know you're integrating something that's been safe?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. Well, I think some of it is like you can poke around like on-chain kit. Has a lot of different example repos. And so what I'll do, and I just like do this a bunch of apps across apps in general, I'll just like go through and see um, how the data is being fetched and loaded. And there are common practices that you would expect in like a client side SDK for like what they're abstracting away. And it seems like the way that they're doing it in on-chain kit is fairly common. And on top of that, if it's fairly common enough and the code looks good, then all of the backend complexity definitely had to go through security vetting from Coinbase. And I would like to think that that is like a good enough barrier. And then just like snooping through the code to check certain things out, but that's probably like the main 80 to 90% for something like this. But yeah, on chain kit is very cool. I think it can do some cool stuff with frames. And another thing I wanted to point out from X, I guess it's less just like Farcaster related, but could you have imagined a year or two ago when, because people talk so much about like the Web 2 to Web 3 progression and how there's so many, yes, there's so many crypto apps that like use what's native to crypto, whether it's crypto native features or crypto native culture, but people would also talk about crypto or Web3 have apps that are like versions of Web2 or traditional apps, but just using crypto rails. And for such a long time, I feel like you could say, oh, the those sort of apps or use cases or the data on them is like a lot smaller. It's not as spread out. And are we still in the early days? And could there still be a lot more done? Yes. But even a list like this feels a lot more like expansive and built out in terms of like the different content and directions that these like startups are taking.
Yeah, I love to
It's like
see this, and I
exciting.
love to see how many what we call kind of the Farcaster native brands and apps
Yeah.
on this list.
I mean,
Um,
it's maybe like
we
80%, right?
it is,
Like,
and
yeah.
I don't know if you have a definition for Farcaster native. Like we go back and forth of like what it actually means. So a lot, like it doesn't necessarily mean you're only on Farcaster, but it's like you have a very strong Farcaster presence. So I'm just looking at this.
Sure.
Obviously, Workcast, MoshiCam, Super, obviously, but Receipts and Chipped and Venice, Polymarket, Ponder, Paragraph,
Interface, paragraph, hypersub.
Interface, like, yeah, Bountycaster, obviously. I mean, it's like this, Farcaster's all over this slide.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, Hypersub,
So yeah,
super cool.
very cool to see. Very cool to see. I think it's just like continuing down that marketing push. Like even as you get these apps, there's like a larger marketing push for how you get folks in, etc. But I was
All
listening
right, would
to
contend.
I know I was listening to your guys' interview with Dan last night. I was walking on the treadmill about the marketing push and all the new initiatives and everything. Excited.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else. Okay, so yes, this is how the wallet works under the hood. We went over that. This is I guess some stuff is going on with Unichain. I saw like Coinbase funding works for Unichain. Uh so it's Uniswap's chain. Like I don't know much more than that. It's a OP stack, like roll up, and I don't know.
You're Dylan, you're the one who's supposed to tell us. That's why we're on this
Sorry.
that's why we're on this podcast, for you to teach
I
us.
need I need
Um,
my AI clone to fill in for this one.
that's
Um
okay. Drop
no,
it in the
I
show
think it's
notes and we'll do the research. But this looks Unichain is live on Ethereum Superchain. I thought it was already live.
yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I thought it had been live for a
I
while.
thought the Unichain was announced a while ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally haven't seen as many people using it. To be honest, I'm also not like a Uniswap maxi. I know they've been doing a lot recently. They launched these Uniswap V4 hooks that it seems like people are moving over to, like the whatever version 4 of their protocol. Um, but I just haven't seen as much going on in this on these chains, and like I think an app chain is still like a pretty big risk to be taking. Another example of it, oh, that we can go over is I guess Lens officially announced Lens chain. And it is their own roll up Lens protocol chain. Wow, I can't believe that Twitter search you couldn't really find that. Scalable social fi on Ethereum layer 2 using ZK sync for storage nodes. Funny enough, that's kind of like how Farcaster is making Snapchain their own social blockchain, except this is a little different, and they have like USDC gas fees, and that's interesting. It facilitates easy onboarding via email and phone verification. That's actually pretty neat. Um, and it still does some cool stuff, but in general, I think it's just like very like hard to justify an app chain. I think in the case of like Uniswap, maybe they put a little like they can probably maintain a little bit more liquidity or volume on the chain than a chain like Zora, which is purely art focused and maybe kind of harder to do so. I think the app chain thing is a little less viable, but what I do see a lot is like the app or ecosystem wallet play. Now you have Abstract who's done it, which is like they have this Abstract global wallet, which is basically like a privy embedded wallet ecosystem that any app in Abstract can use. And they have this built-in live streaming platform, I guess, as well, where you can like tip with the wallet. And now you have that for Warpcast, where you have this embedded wallet that any other apps can use through V2 frames. And so, if anything, that is the more, and obviously of WorldCoin and their mini app ecosystem and mobile, native app. So I think that is a lot more like what we can see in terms of like consumer usage. I don't know from the DeFi liquidity standpoint for like how you can actually keep the rest of these app chains alive.
Are you on Lens?
I have an account. I do not really post there much. I'd say if anything, I spend a little more time on Blue Sky, but I also just don't really post there much.
Am I remembering correctly that all of your like posts on Lens are on chain?
Uh,
Like, do you
I
have to
don't
pay?
know. No,
Okay,
you
that
don't
was
have to
my
pay.
memory. You're not paying gas fees or transaction fees to post?
It might have been in the past, but I think some things, I think maybe like when you follow someone, it's on chain, or certain parts of it are on chain. It's on or it was on Polygon, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That all really confuses me. I'm really curious. I mean, they've owned Family Wallet now for a while. I wonder, like, since Aave doesn't have their own, or team doesn't have their own Lens client, is that going to happen in Family? Are they gonna? They acquired another team a while back, but they never built anything with them. So I'm curious where that all goes. And then that's like leaving aside conversations about like the actual community itself. And so we'll see. All right. Let's see what other links we have. That might have been the end of the road. Okay. Oh, Dan put the eye emoji. He put the eye emoji here too. A lot of eye emojis. Um, okay. Well, I mean, I think, Woj's first hot bar at Erewhon. Very exciting. I guess if we didn't go over that too much last week, or maybe we did, but Woj is joining Super. Oh, well, I'm honored. Three fire emojis and GM Farcaster live shout out. That's awesome. Well, good stuff. That's we like this kind of feedback loop live here on the show.
I need to correct. This is the Hub live shout out.
The Hub live shout out. Nice, nice. Awesome.
Great.
Well, yeah, it was still fun to go through. I think if you have access to the Warpcast wallet, you should definitely go and try it out. There is going to be another developer call this Thursday at 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern. I'm sure the link will be up for that. You should definitely join if you want to get the latest, especially since Woj and Ted have now joined. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of updates on this one. And everyone, keep building. We'll be back next week with fun guests and a lot of cool stuff to go through. So thank you so much, as always, Adrienne.
Yeah, Dylan, thanks for all the dev updates. Reminder to everyone, because Dylan won't tell you, subscribe to the Hub podcast. If you search the Hub Farcaster anywhere you listen to podcasts, it should show up, and you can subscribe just to get the feed of the Hub. We're also posting all these episodes on all of the GM Farcaster channels as well, so you can subscribe to GM Farcaster and never miss your dev updates. And yeah, I'm excited for next week's episode, Dylan, to hear all the developer call updates because a lot going on.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Been testing with Wallet, minted a GM Farcaster NFT with it. Very nice.
Me too. That was my first test. I
Nice. Nice.
off of using the pods.media frame.
I'll have to do one right after this. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Bye.
Yeah.